Welcome to another entry in the Hyrule Compendium. Today we're going to take a look at a comment from, I don't even know how many times they've commented, but our good friend Tim B. They want us to talk about the first Zelda game we 100%ed.
This is a tough one because it makes me need to define what 100% is. So the answer, like a lot of my answers, is A Link to the Past. But I thought I 100%ed the game, only to realize later that there was more in the game that I didn't know. In A Link to the Past, I filled up all the items in my inventory. I got all the bomb and magic and arrow upgrades, and I beat the game. And I thought that was everything there was to do in the game. And it wasn't until years and years later that I found out there was a level 4 sword in the game. I thought the tempered sword was the end of the line. You know, you get 3 shields, you get 3 swords, and so I did everything in the game. Other than I didn't know there was a golden sword.
So there was actually a second little part in Tim's question saying, was this with or without a walkthrough? But this is in a time really before the walkthroughs were widely available.
Right. There was Nintendo Power was around. This was the mid-90s for me. So like the internet was in its infancy. I don't know if like game FAQs was around yet. I'm sure there were some text guides available for the game, but that was an afterthought. And I think actually Nintendo Power, looking back now, they did showcase that you can get a level 4 sword, but I just didn't know that it existed. And you know, your inventory is full at this point, and I thought that fairy fountain, the whole point of that fairy fountain was to get the silver arrows, because that was the item you needed to defeat Ganon, and there was references to the silver arrows in the game. So I didn't know that. So I finally got the golden sword. The funny thing is, it wasn't until over 10 years after the game released that I also found out that there was there's the bee you can catch, but then there was also the good bee. Yeah, it's in one of in the fairy fountains. If you dash into the little statue, a bee comes out, and it's just a regular bee, but it has like sparkles around it, and it's called the good bee. And it differs from the regular bee in that when you release it, it'll go kill enemies and then come back to you, and you can recapture it. I never knew that this thing existed. And now this is not a full inventory item, but the point is that even though when I view what is a 100%ing a game, there were still things in the game that I was discovering well after the fact that I got everything.
What was the gap between you realizing you needed the 4th sword and when you thought you had 100%ed it?
So I didn't realize there was a gold sword until I was involved with the Zelda community. Okay. So I think this was like 1999. I might have discovered this. I think I found it at like Zelda Power or Zelda Gaming Online, one of those websites. And I was just glancing at like in A Link to the Past section, and it's like, whoa, I never knew this thing existed.
In that time, you probably had 100%ed other games.
I did. Well, here's another iffy one. The Legend of Zelda. Because I got all the heart pieces. There's not that many in this game. And I got all the items in the first quest for The Legend of Zelda. But it wasn't until significantly later on that I ever 100%ed the second quest. So that's an iffy one. And then the third one, and I'm not sure if this one counts, is Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, because there's not much in the form of optional material in this game. There are some you don't need the upward thrust, for example, to beat the game. You don't need a couple of the spells. I don't think you need the life spell. You don't need the shields. Actually, I think you do need the shields. But I mean, you can beat the game without getting certain items, but through the natural progression of the game, you're going to get virtually everything. So by the time you beat the game, I don't know what's considered 100% of this game. All spells, all hearts, all magic, I think. So I've done that, but I think most people that have beaten the game have also done that. It's not like an additional accomplishment over just beating the game.
Since then, would you say you pretty often 100% most Zelda games?
Yeah, I've 100%ed Link's Awakening, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask. I have not gotten all the rings in Oracle of Ages and Seasons. That's still on my bucket list. I've never gotten all the figurines in Wind Waker. I've 100% Twilight Princess. I've almost 100%ed Phantom Hourglass. I never got all the ship parts. Some of them, like, I think that game, it's designed where in each person's game, certain parts are just rare. Because it wanted you to, I think it encouraged you to use the trading ability. Because if you were playing the game and I was playing the game, you have an item that I don't, and we can just swap, we can trade. And it encouraged people to use, like, the Wi-Fi trading to get all the parts. I think. I'm kind of speculating here. So it was a very similar situation with Spirit Tracks with the train parts as well. So those are the exceptions, I guess. And outside of that, though, I think I've 100%ed almost every game, other than the few I mentioned. There's always little things. Like, there's a Link Between Worlds. There's that giant cuckoo. We got to play the cuckoo minigame and survive for 999 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, 20 people in the world have probably done that. And nobody in the world is 100% into Hyrule Warriors. Like some of our team members, Locke, I think he's 700 hours in. And I think he said, I still have about 400 hours left to go before I 100% the game.
See, I'm not like that, really. I kind of play a game until I feel done with it. I feel like I've had the most fun I could with it. And then I typically would much rather just play through it again than do the extra stuff. I've gotten probably all of the heart containers. Like Ocarina of Time, I've gotten I've a lot of games that I've gotten all the heart containers. But for example, I've actually never gotten all the Skulltulas. At some point you get so many, and then it's like the rest is like, I'm definitely not going to look for them, and just looking them up on a walkthrough, for me personally, that's just how my playstyle. I'm never going to get all the Korok seeds, stuff like that. So the first game I actually 100%ed was only a couple years ago, and it was Majora's Mask 3D.
Okay. That's crazy, because you had been playing Zelda for like 15 years at that point.
It's my favorite Zelda game, and I've already gotten all the heart pieces in that game previously, and I'd played through most of the game, and it's not hard to 100% that game, but because most of the things in that game are fun to get. The masks are all fun to get. I've gotten all of them previously. The only thing in that game I hadn't done was maybe one of the dungeons. I hadn't gotten all the stray fairies or something like that. It's probably Stone Tower Temple, actually, because that one you gotta flip it back and forth. But when I was a kid, I got close to 100%ing that game. And but other than that, I think I have A Link to the Past when I was practicing for one of the marathons, just trying to because for me that game's kind of hard. So, trying to get all the power-ups I can and stuff. I don't know if I got all the sword upgrades or whatever. So
or the good bee.
But yeah, that's typically not my style.
A lot of, you mentioned the, gold Skulltulas. I think that's a lot, sometimes that's the barrier where some people get everything except that one, collectathon item. With the gold Skulltulas, you get decent rewards for getting 10 of them, 20 of them, 30 of them, I think up to 50. And then you get no rewards from 51 through 99. And then you get to 100 and you've cured the house and you just have an unlimited supply of rupees. But at that point, in the game, when you've reached all the areas where you can get all the Skulltulas, rupees are useless to you. So it's like a useless reward, and that's a reoccurring theme.
That's how I feel about Korok seeds.
Koroks, after 455, you can't even do anything. But even then, you don't need to upgrade all 7 shield slots.
You're just doing at that point to do it.
Right, yeah.
Which for me, I'm more about, I want to explore the world, get more context to the story,
Right.
That doesn't really give me much more story or anything. So I'll just start the game over,
Similarly with the Post Souls in Twilight Princess. And, some other games had more unique items. I think it was in Spirit Tracks, there was 50 rabbits in the overworld, and most people never got it. But the item was, I think it was the Great Spin Attack was the reward. Okay. So it's something that it's not overly useful, but it's better than unlimited rupees, which is virtually nothing. Useless to me,
What are those guys in A Link Between Worlds you collect?
The Mai-Mai's let you upgrade all your weapons.
I remember starting on that and then being like, I don't care,
Yeah.
I totally understand why people do it, but it's just, not how I feel about it. One thing in Majora's Mask that makes it so fun to get a lot of the stuff is in the 3D that they made a lot more entries into the bomber's notebook, so it's easier to keep track and to see stuff, and you feel accomplished every time I get the little ding, like I help someone. It makes it feel more thematic, like why it makes sense in the game.
And the kids run up to you to tell you the secrets too.
Oh, really?
In that game, yeah.
I know they tell you a couple things, but I didn't know they give you hints like that.
Yeah, they open up the missions basically for you. I got one follow-up question. Are there any Zelda games that you haven't 100% that you feel like you want to?
Like I said, most of them I've done where I got all the hearts. Like Twilight Princess, it's easy to get all the hearts because they tell you. But I don't think I want to do the... I've gotten all the bugs, but I don't think I want to do the Poe Souls. Maybe Ocarina of Time, just because it's one of my favorites.
100%ing any Zelda game seems like an easy task now that Breath of the Wild is out. Like getting 100 Skulltulas is a drop in the bucket now compared to 900 Korok seeds and like 120 shrines and 80 side quests and all these other things. Even 100%ing, like people the world record have 100% in Ocarina of Time like 4 hours. Even if you're not like speedrunning the game, just casually, if you know the game decently, you can beat 100% in that game in 12 hours or something, 14 hours. Whereas Breath of the Wild, even the 100% speedruns are, I think, 35 hours or something.
But until they make collecting all the stuff like more fun than just being a collector, then probably not.
It's sometimes some games have done the collectathons better. I mentioned Phantom Hourglass, I think, a lot when it comes to collections, because there are a lot of things to collect in that game. There's the Sands of Hours, the Heart Containers, the Courage Gems, Wisdom Gems, Power Gems, the Treasure Maps, the Sunken Treasure. So there's like 7 different things in the game to collect, and they all have different rewards too. In like, even let's say if there's collectively 200 things to collect, that's better than just there's 200 of one thing.
Okay.
Like in Breath of the Wild.
Right. Actually, one thing you made me think of is the Compendium in that game. You're taking all the pictures.
Yeah.
I've seen you just take a bunch of photos all at once and stuff. For me, I was more, I will pay them to
complete my compendium.
Yeah, which I didn't even, at a certain point, I was like, well, I don't even want to do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that's our feelings on 100% thing. We're kind of on different ends.
I enjoy it, and I have a goal. So I'm gonna give a shout out real quick. Super MC Gamer over at Zeldathon. He's trying to 100% every single Zelda game right now, and that's motivated me to want to do a similar challenge too, and maybe in some sort of time frame.
Okay, well, everyone go check out Super MC Gamer. Let us know like how you enjoy to play these games. I know a lot of people talked to recently with Breath of the Wild, they're like, I have to get the Korok seeds.
Right.
So let us know if that's where you're at, if that's what you've done, or if you're more like me, if you just like to play the game. Let us know some other topics you'd like us to discuss. Give us a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe, and thanks for watching.